We're joined now by former NASA astronaut Chiao. He's the author of the soon-to-be-released book, Dinner with an Astronaut. He's also with us, CNN's Pete Muntean, and Adam Frank. He's a professor of astrophysics at the University of Rochester and author of the Everyman's Universe newsletter. Good to have all of you here. Leroy, let's start first with you, former astronaut yourself. I think we were all struck by how they were saying they've been in medical testing, they've been in all these debriefing things, that they really haven't had time yet to fully reflect on what they experienced, but they did touch on just how the magnitude, I think, of this experience on them, how they're forever changed by what they saw. What did you think about what you heard from them?
Absolutely. I mean, even if you go into low Earth orbit, flying into space, I don't think anyone does that without it fundamentally changing your viewpoint, your perspective, and even more so if you leave Earth orbit and you actually go somewhere like around the moon. Right. So I was inspired as an 8-year-old kid watching Apollo 11, wanting to become an astronaut myself. And so I lived vicariously through them, getting to see that view of the moon. And, you could tell from the press conference, they're all on cloud 9, had a great mission, basically flawless, a few glitches on the toilet, but so what? And, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And Pete, among the lessons learned that we just heard there from Reed Wiseman, managing space during workouts and also accessing lunch seems something they're going to streamline.
Here is the news that I heard. Not only was the toilet wonderful and what so many people were thinking about, Reed Wiseman said there was a vent line that was clogged that put a limitation in the number of urine events. NASA speak for having to pee. So they said that it was making it hard to essentially blow that out into space when it would turn into crystalline pee. And that was the difficulty there. The other news that I heard was that there were problems leading up to re-entry. Still 80,000 miles from Earth, a smoke alarm went off, which he said got attention of the astronauts on board Artemis 2 and in the Orion capsule and the Integrity spacecraft, and that things were tense. That's not something we'd heard before. And then something that was really interesting, a question from one of the Mashable reporters who asked, why is it that the idea that a woman and a person of color would not be the first people on the moon? That's been scrubbed from the NASA websites under the Trump administration. She said decisions made decades ago will lead to it anyway, that you might have to try harder to make that not the case. And she says it's pretty easy to actually make it so that it's a very inclusive crew that will ultimately land on the moon on Artemis 4, scheduled for 2028. I think those were the things that really stood out to me. I think the more squishy, esoteric things that we talked about here, the things that are novel to spaceflight, are also really interesting. So many astronauts talk about the idea that you have to leave the world to really understand the world. And they were talking so much about being, in essence, moved to emotional tears in some cases when you see the sun and the moon eclipse the sun as they were sort of on the backside of the moon. They're the only 4 pairs of eyeballs who have ever seen the far side of the moon in such a way, at least of this generation. It's really quite incredible, something that they've gone through. And then just the idea that they all worked as a team. This is something they briefly touched about in their remarks not long after splashdown last week. But Wiseman said, the commander, we launched as friends, returned as best friends. Jeremy Hansen, the Canadian astronaut on board, says this is something that we did together. And of course, they really emphasize that this was a team effort, not just beyond the 4-person crew on the capsule, but the NASA engineers, those involved in making everything. Yes, probably including the toilet. And then mission control. I mean, this was really a team sport. And they really continue to emphasize that over and over again of something we can do together as not only Americans, but together as humans.
As people, yeah, for sure. And Adam, I want to go to you because building on what Pete was talking about, there were some tense moments, there were some things that could have been improved, they said, but Reed Wiseman also said in his opinion, they could put the Artemis 3 Orion on the Space Launch System tomorrow, launch it, and the crew would be in great shape. That was a pretty resounding vote of confidence there. What did you think about that statement?
Yeah, I think, what is remarkable about the whole mission was it shows you the value of getting things right, right? We live in a country with a lot of science denial at the highest levels. And this, what you see is like when it really matters, you have to get the answer right. And the NASA team that has been working on this for so long really showed the power of American science and technology at a time when, they're really under threat, that they can deliver the team, the astronauts who are risking their lives and putting themselves, in a position where, of great danger, can execute the mission. The team that's supporting them, the science and technology that supports them can really deliver when it matters, because, there's no margin for error. So what I really feel like is this really re-emphasized to people that you have to invest over decades in science and technology in order to have these kinds of returns. And as we also saw with what the astronauts were talking about, how it changes their own perspective. We're on the frontier now. Within a couple of Artemis missions, they're going to start building that moon base. And soon, lots of people in 10, 20, 30 years, lots of people are going to have that experience. And I think it will fundamentally change human beings and how we view ourselves and our planet, too.
It could be incredible. Leroy, last word to you as we heard some of the astronauts, Victor Glover especially, talking about not yet having had a chance to process everything that they just went through. How do you think they're going to remember this experience? How do you think we're going to remember Artemis 2 as part of the bigger plan for the future of exploration of space?
Well, I absolutely understand what he's talking about. 10-day flight is what a kind of an average shuttle mission was, and you're just so busy. You get up there, you're up there for 10, 12 days. You come back, and it's almost like a dream. It's like you've been training for years. You go do this, and then it's like, wow, what happened? Did I really do that? So it is going to take some time for them to remember and process it. All you can remember when you get back right away are glimpses and moments. But yeah, this is a huge deal. First astronauts to go back around the moon in over almost 54 years, the farthest humans from the planet. And it sets the stage for the landing that's coming up. So these guys, it's gonna take some time to process, but they're on cloud nine, as I said. They've had a very successful mission. They're looking forward to the future and inspiring the next generation and all that goes with it.
Amazing stuff. All right, Leroy, Pete, Frank, Adam, Frank, great to have all of you with us. Thank you so much for that. And Silicon